what's up, guys? My name is Joey Langenbrunner, and this is the Joey Langenbrunner Podcast. We talk about sovereignty and freedom here. I have a friend of mine. His name is Jeff. He does insight consulting. Jeff, what is insight consulting?
I started the company about 11 years ago, and pretty much it was not a concierge company.
Yeah.
Then it exploded to real estate development. So pretty much we handle anything that people need help with marketing, business development, and then now we expanded to the travel program where we do medical tourism as well as tourism. So I take people all over the world for that. So it's kind of interesting. So
Oh, that's so cool. So what inspired you to go to from like marketing and real estate to medical tourism and tourism in general? Like, what was like your inspiration for that?
well, I've been flying free my whole life. I started with the airlines Pan Am years ago in operations. This was years ago.
Oh,
And
wow.
airlines kept shutting down. Like Pan Am went under, TWA went under. And I finally got with US Air and it was like, oh, I'm set. And then 9/11 hit. So I've been with the airlines my whole life. It's always been easier to get on flights in the past. Now it's harder. So now I have to buy flights. But I mean, I can still go standby, but it's hard. But I've always been doing that all over the world. My first trip was Rio. It was amazing. I
Wow.
just got off an 18-day cruise. It went from Barcelona all the way to Rio. It was like $650. I get really good deals on it. So my thing is go for it because when I was younger, I used to see all these people, poor old people with oxygen tanks and thinking that's not going to be me. So I started a job on the airline super young. So I figured I want to start now. So I'm not going to be like 90 years old and trying to travel and enjoy myself.
Yeah, no, it baffles me when sometimes I'll go on cruises and it's just like it's mostly just old people. And
Yeah.
and that's fine if like you enjoy your retirement, like there's nothing against that. But when you're young, I feel like that's when you should go out and really explore the world because when I'm old, like Jeff, like
Mhm.
I don't want to go on these trips, man. I want to stay still. I want
Yeah,
to relax. Like
exactly.
it'll be too tiring. But when I'm young, Jeff, I want to go explore because I'm gonna have the energy to do so. I want to hike, I want to climb, I want to run, I want to, swim, all these different things because, I've seen some of the pictures that you do. You go on some of like these excursions. Like you'll land at a place, you'll go off and do, some sort of excursion, stuff like that.
Mhm.
And by the way, that's a crazy cruise going from Barcelona to Rio because usually
Yeah,
like a
it's
lot of these Mediterranean ones, it's like you stay in the Mediterranean but like that's bizarre, man. Like that's cool.
What's a repositioning cruise? If
Yeah.
you're going to do any cruises, you want to save money. Repositioning is the way to go because they're trying to take it from a warm climate to bring it back to a warm climate. That's what they're doing. They always
Oh,
have repositionings. That's a lazy way to go. You can get them anywhere from vacations to go is pretty good, but you can get them anywhere from like 75 to 80% off a regular cruise price.
dude.
Yeah, it's awesome. And then listen, Costa is the best in the world. I've been on 86 cruises, right? World Caribbean. Costa was nonstop fun. It was all, let's see, Brazilians, Italians. And it's funny because there was 10% of us spoke English, right? But it didn't matter. They started all the announcements with Italian, like they started Italian, Portuguese, and Spanish, and American. And it was a blast. Like those people know how to have so much fun. And then they gave us like 4 hours of dance lessons of like
Wow.
cha-cha, merengue, because I always wanted to learn how to dance. So I'm on 10 days of the cruise because a lot of it was on land because you're going so far. And then
Right.
we went through Africa. We took dance lessons, which was great. They had pasta making lessons, and they even had language lessons. So
Oh,
like this
cool.
this thing was worth. If I had to value this cruise, I would say this cruise was probably worth about $4,500, and I got it for less than 700. So it's insane.
Dude, what a deal. Okay, so next time I go on a cruise, I need to get on one of these reposition
Yeah,
cruises.
contact me. I'll take care of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
I'm
sounds like
a
it.
agent. So
That sounds awesome. Yeah, no, I have not been on a cruise. The last time I did a cruise was actually in Alaska. Flew to Anchorage and then took the cruise down to Vancouver, and that was beautiful. I mean, did it during
yeah.
the summer, so it wasn't too cold.
Hmm.
But one thing that was so crazy about that cruise, Jeff, is just like the sun almost like never set because it was just like
Yeah.
so far north and it was during the summer, and it
Yeah.
was beautiful. It
And the
was
best thing I tell people, if you're going on a cruise, make sure to go to Europe or South America because you get you to tease you to places. You don't have to worry about your hotels. Don't have to worry about like even the food. Like if you wanted to, you could eat all kind of food like for breakfast, and you don't have to spend a dime. So that's if you're really on a budget, that's good. And and also another good thing to do is go to Gringo Tuesday. And Gringo Tuesday is every South American country, right? And it's like 400 people in a 3 or 4 story bar. And it's all people trying to learn English and Spanish. And you can network. That's how I meet a lot of my doctors and I meet a lot of the concierges like me. So we'll go in and we'll start talking like, well, I've been living here. And one of my guys in Medellin's awesome. He lived in New Jersey, was married to an American lady for 10 years. So he gets everything. So
yeah.
that's the best kind of guy you can get that lived in America. But he hooks me up with dentists and plastic surgeons and Another thing we're doing is stem cell, anything
Oh,
like
cool.
that, anything that can't be covered by insurance or even by insurance, because people don't realize if you're in India, you can get anything of heart treatments for 15,000. In America, it's 150. Dental's usually half the price. If you need anything to do with hair, that's usually Turkey. But Turkey has a lot of stuff to do. But anywhere, as you know, because you're European too, anywhere in Europe's great because it's a lot cheaper, and they're awesome there. Especially people like, why would you go to Turkey for? I mean, why would you go to India for your heart? Well, most doctors in America are Indian, so that's how it is. It really doesn't matter, So that's
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 so
why I like it.
true.
Yeah.
That's so true. So here, let me I want to learn a little bit more about medical tourism because
Okay.
you know, we saw that shooting with like that United Health or like that guy, just everyone has their own opinion on it. But
Yeah.
long story short, healthcare in the US, we both live in the US, it's expensive.
Mhm.
Sometimes they'll decline you, and it's just like such a mess. And
Yeah.
it's like so like politicized. But if you compare it to a lot of other countries, it's one of those things where it's not so political. Like in Canada, it's a bit political. In the UK, it's a bit political. But
Mhm.
like I used to live in Portugal and healthcare was great. It wasn't like political.
Yeah.
I've heard healthcare in Spain is great. I was thinking about relocating there, sometime in my life. I think last time I went to the dentist was in Hungary and had a great experience.
Yeah.
Best place I've ever had a chiropractor was actually when I was living in Serbia. I think it was like 20 euro, and the guy just like, like in the guy's house, and it was like the best chiropractic treatment I've ever had in my life, better than anything in the US. So it's one of those things where I always encourage my clients saying, hey, like you want to move to Mexico, you want to move to Colombia, Spain, whatever, just so that you will get better medical experience in these countries at a cheaper price. But, what are some of the best places for, some popular procedures? So like
Um,
I know Turkey
so
is big for hair, but
Turkey's big for hair. Again, India's big for the heart.
okay.
Costa Rica used to be good, but it's too pricey. It's
Oh,
Americanized now, so there's no value there. Because say if you do have complications, right? Colombia is the best because Colombia from Florida or even the United States, it's almost like it's even less time going to Los Angeles.
yeah.
So if you did have, even if you had to go 2 or 3 times, you can get a round trip from Spirit. Americans usually 3 to 350. They're always higher, but you can take a free bag. Spirit and all the cheap ass airlines, those are like super cheap. And if you have one of those backpacks, they even have a backpack now that has one of those vacuum things. It's really cool. So you don't have to even get a bag. You ever see it before? It was on Facebook. Now you can how you those bags that you vacuum your stuff, like your closet stuff in the winter. They have that now for a suitcase. But anyway, make a long story short, like you could go 2 times because sometimes you need to go twice and all that. You're still at least 50% less. For Colombia has everything. To be honest with you, and Colombia is one of the 7 countries that's legal to have a really good stem cell. Okay, stem cell can be out of your own
Really?
body. That's the normal way. But Colombia is one of the 7 countries that you can get it where it comes out of the umbilical cord because it's very controversial, political. So
Right.
definitely Colombia is my favorite. Between Bogota and Medellin's amazing. And like I said, that's where I like to go. Again, you could go to Singapore, but these places, if you want to go there and get it, that's fine. But if you're going to save money, you're not going to go to Singapore because Singapore is outrageous. It's super expensive. The flight there is expensive. There's one flight that you can do, or one way you can try. It's called pointsya.com, and you
Okay.
can convert your American airline points into any points. Like instead of you paying 250 Miami to Singapore, it'll tell you Virgin Atlantic's running a special to the end of the month for 45,000. So that's like $450 as opposed to I don't know, like 2,000. So in other words, there's always ways you could do it. Hopper's really good. But make a
Right.
long story short, if it was me, I would definitely go to Colombia. It's fun, it's nice, it's not dangerous. If you're looking for bad stuff, drugs, and you know what, you have these old guys looking trying to hook up. And it's like that's just like you trying to go down to St. Petersburg at 4 in the morning. That's why they get, oh, it's dangerous. Well, that's because you're looking for stuff. It's like anything else. It's like it's a safe place. Medellin kind of reminds you of like a downtown St. Petersburg. It's kind of yuppie. I mean, you do like. The bottom line is these people say, and don't wear all this fancy stuff because that's like saying to someone, "Oh, look at me, I have all this money." Of course, it's stupid anyway. I don't wear all that stuff. I mean, you have nice jewelry, but I don't even wear that stuff. And even your cell phone, they say watch your cell phone, they'll take it. I've never had any problems with it, but don't put your cell phone out for people, because there's starving people everywhere. But anyway,
Yeah,
the
that's true.
best places is Colombia for sure. Turkey's really good. Turkey has a ton of shopping too. Oh my God, if you ever heard of the bazaar, it's like 4 miles long. Turkey's really
Four
good.
miles long?
It's this thing is it's so
That's
crazy. The
insane.
bazaar, yeah, it's insane.
Wow.
But anyway, and you can get anything super cheap there because I'm Lebanese and Italian. I like to go back to Lebanon, but it's too crazy right now.
Yeah.
But anyway, then I want to go to Jerusalem. But all those places are really nice. Again, and the reason why I'd like to go take people to the doctors really care and like they don't like most doctors in these other countries make between 50 and 150 because they want to do it. And American doctors usually probably make between 150 and a half a million because a lot of them don't even like it because they're stressed and they worried about HMOs and all this crap. And over there, like there's one Lebanese doctor that I know. He's out of West Palm. Like he uses frankincense. He uses a lot of those but herbs from the biblical days. So in other words, he's great. Like he's world renowned. So I mean, they really get it. They like it. I think do your research. We let people do research the doctor. You can even do a Zoom with these people to see if
Okay.
that's a fit. And then you know what, you can go there and not even have to go through with it. I mean, if you go all the way down there and say you get cold, if you don't want to do it, and just enjoy the vacation, you know. So there's no pressure on my point, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, like I've seen deals, especially in Mexico, where it's like, all right, 7 days, you're gonna have a five-star resort, we'll do your surgery, all the stuff, and then the cost is like 4 or 5 thousand. Meanwhile, like if you just want the surgery in the US, for whatever, it's like $40,000.
Yeah,
I'm
and
just
then
like,
another
this is a
another thing
no-brainer.
another thing's big too is detox, right? There's a place in detox. It's called Hypocrisy, right, or Hippocrates, whatever. It's $10,000 a week, and they give you like purified water, purified shampoo. You have to be vegan. It's mostly for poor people that are in stage 4 cancer. There's also one in Mexico that's similar, and that's $5,000. But look how much money these guys are charging. If you're in Europe, you could do the same thing yourself and save all that money because most of the time the water's purified, the food's better for you, there's no enrichment. You could actually do a detox by yourself in Europe, I would say, in Crete. Crete's amazing too. That's one of my favorite places.
It's amazing too. Yeah, yeah,
Crete's
for sure.
amazing. The people are so cheap. You can get $50 a night hotel. And one of my friends, I'm trying to sell her hotel. She's a sweet old lady. She wants to, because I'm a realtor and I could sell anywhere. But anyway, she's a sweet old lady. But you can get a place in her for $50 a night for a hotel room. Go to Crete. And like the vegetables, if I always go to the farmer's market, the vegetables are 6 times as large. There's no preservatives. There's no enrichment in the bread. If you ever go, and this European cruise, we had pizza, we had homemade pasta. You never felt stuffed because nothing was enriched and everything's natural. You could eat as much bread as you want, not paying a pound because it wasn't it didn't stuff you up, you know.
Dude,
So
dude, I mean, like if that's the case, why are you back in the US?
I know. Well, I got a lot of stuff going on here.
I
You know
know.
what? Too, I was gone so long. I was gone probably October, November, December mostly. And my real estate firms, like, because I'm an England brokers, they're like, "When are you coming back?" But that's the nice thing about being a real estate agent. They don't care because you're not on salary. But anyway, I finally got back. But yeah, it's nice to be back. But my thing is I try to take 2 big trips a year. This year is going to be Thailand, probably Bali, Vietnam, and Australia, and then always Colombia don't count. That's like going down the street for me because I go once a quarter to take people. Now I'll probably go to Crete, and then Albania is another one. Albania, Romania, those places are so cheap. People are friendly, and like you're like a billionaire down there. And Albania is going to be the next what's that place called over in Italy? It's going to be the next, those islands where they call it, I forget the name. In French Riviera, it's going to be like that time of place. Albania is so beautiful, the south of Albania. Have you been there
Yeah.
before?
I have not been to Albania. I was looking at property in the south, like around like Sarande.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess like the best place or like the best way to get there, like I guess like you fly to Corfu and then you can
Mm-hmm.
boat there because like there's just no Albanian. I think there's like one Albanian airport
It is. It's called,
in the
yeah.
whole country, which like to me
Yeah.
is like, dude, this screams opportunity. Like if because
Yeah.
eventually they're going to build like a small airport. But I'll say like that region of Europe is probably my favorite because I used to live in Hungary. I lived in Serbia for quite a while. I went
Wow.
to the border of Serbia and Romania, so I've seen Romania, but I've actually never been there. But I've heard some amazing things about Romania too. But like long story short, in all those countries, especially in that part, I feel like they have great, let's say, like dentistry out there. Like I've just heard about it. But yeah, even cost wise and food and all these kind of things, I mean, like Eastern Europe is my favorite. There's lots of opportunities like for real estate. Like one of the products that I will help sell is the Greek Golden Visa, right? So you
Oh,
got property in Greece and
sure.
you can get a residency permit. Are you able
Mm-hmm.
to sell are you able to sell a property in Greece?
Oh yeah, like I mean, anytime you're a realtor, especially England Volkers, they're all over the world. They're actually
Okay.
more. They're bigger in South Africa. They're bigger in Europe than they are. They started in Germany. So yeah, and it's a
Oh,
referral
okay.
for me. Yeah, that's what I call England
Okay,
Volkers.
gotcha.
Yeah. So what it is when you're a realtor, you can go anywhere. You get 25% referral fee. So if I find somebody, it's like that lady. I hooked her up with someone who's local, and then if it goes through, I get 25%, which is good.
Dude, sounds like pretty easy money for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty. And they're
Yeah.
nice people. So
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, when you're working with clients, you always want to work with someone that you know and that you
yep.
like for sure.
Another thing we do too is like we help people try to do the EB1 EB5 visa program. One of my
Right.
friends is really heavily involved in that. So if you know of anybody, like we could work together on that because we used
Yeah,
to
for
do it
sure.
from Beijing. We had people come from Beijing to West Palm, and a lot of people don't know this, but the criteria is they have to have a similar business in that part of the world than here. So a lot of people were like, if they had if they had real estate, they were good. If you had a rental property, you could buy real estate here. If you had a little convenience store, that's why a lot of Indian people have 7-Elevens, because they used to be traders. So in other words, that's then you have to have so many employees, you have to be a tax good citizenship, and that's how people come over. And now with everything going on, I think a lot more people are going to be trying to come over to the United States again. It was stopped because after 9/11, it stopped, and a lot of those people we had on the hook in Beijing wish they would have made it over there, because that was right when not 9/11. That was when the pandemic hit, and then they
Oh,
got
yeah.
stuck over there. So anyway,
Wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And hopefully, there's no more pandemics. And I think with Trump in power now, I think
yeah,
he is going to really push people to come back to the US,
yep, for sure, bud.
bring companies back to the US, especially with these tariffs. So it'll be very interesting to see how much immigration is going to increase in the US, because I really feel like it's going to be a huge game changer.
Yeah, and the thing is, there's so much money. People don't realize like it costs between 800,000, probably even more, to $1 million, and then a lot of that goes to lawyers. A lot of that goes to like starting a business here. There's
Right.
some people who come over just to get over here, and some really want to do have a business here. It's one of those type of things.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. No,
you
like,
know, hmm
yeah, I mean, like when I pick up these immigration cases, I don't do a lot of US because it's more complicated. If I want to get
sure,
someone to move to Colombia or Mexico or Spain, I mean, the cases are so easy, so
yep,
it's much easier turnaround. But if you're doing immigration to the UK, Canada,
yep.
US, Australia, New Zealand, these countries are a lot more difficult, but it's more difficult because you have more demand.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right. So like it's just, it kind of filters things out. But with that being said, uh, you know, if you're just trying, like if you're just trying to get like let's say like a residency in Mexico just as like a plan B because there's no minimum stay requirements, doing stuff
hmm
like that for Americans is just like a no-brainer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it
So
is pretty good stuff. Yeah.
cool, Jeff. Dude, I appreciate you coming on, man. It was great to learn about like these travel experiences. I definitely want to do a cruise, like one of these like reposition cruises. I would definitely reach out to you. Great to
Okay.
know more about medical tourism. I've done that myself. I highly encourage a lot of my clients to do that. So it was great to hear your insights on that, man.
Okay. Cool. Sounds good, buddy.
Cool. All right, thanks, Jeff.
Okay. Talk to you later. Thanks.
Bye.